Welcome to Zero to Capper in 12 months. I know the title of the class seems like this is for brand new agents, but that's not necessarily the case. In fact, I rebrand this class and teach the same thing to all of my top producers. So everything that we go today is something that anybody can use. But this is also a little bit of an introduction to the 201 Club as well. But my name is Ashley Coppola. I'm the regional tech trainer for New York, Tri-State, and Manhattan. Which basically means that I now help 46 market centers run their office across 3 states, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. So a little bit about my experience with Keller Williams. Fun fact, I found out last week that apparently July 1st, I've been with Keller Williams for 17 years. Wow. So yeah, and full disclosure, there was like a 6-year hiatus where I was like, I hate real estate, I never want to do this again. And then I got sucked back in. My whole family's in it. Some of you guys may know my sister-in-law. She used to be the team leader of this office. Pam Syed. Yeah. That is my sister-in-law. She married my brother, so lots of connections. Yeah,
She got me in.
I love it. So yeah, but she was a team leader. My mom was a team leader. My brother was licensed. My dad had a team in New York and New Jersey. So I was born into Keller Williams, and now I bleed Keller red, not regular red, just Keller red. But I've had a lot of different roles inside of the organization. I was an agent on a team. I was an admin for a team. I then became the director of operations for my dad's team. I've been a team leader in an office, an agent services, a director of technology for 10 locations, and now regional tech trainer. So that's just a little bit about me. So tell me something good. I don't know. I mean, Miranda, I know, but the rest of you guys are new faces. So tell me either what your name is or just something good that happened to you over the weekend or whatever. Anything. Tell me something good, guys.
All right, I'm Agnes Bowman from this office.
Hi,
And I just picked up a new listing over the weekend.
Awesome.
It just happened because I'm telling you, social media, I don't do social media, my assistant does. I'm one of those people hiding behind the social media, but anyway, he convinced me that I should do something. So that is something that I don't usually do, which is taking a video of the blog and hey, it is manual. Anyway, I did it go crazy less than 5 seconds. So he posted it on Instagram. The response that I'm getting, it's just absolutely crazy from the buyers, the mortgage brokers, and of course our fellow real estate agents. So I don't know how familiar you are with the New Jersey Real Estate Commission. We cannot market anything exclusive or off market if you can't co-broke with other agents. So of course, that's a little bit different from Hudson County MLS that I do. So there's a little complication there. But anyway, the moral of the story is the social media thing works.
It does.
As much as I hate to do it.
Well, it definitely, you're right. Social media 100% works. Well, it's nice to meet you, Agnes, in person. What else, guys? Tell me something good. One more, at least one more. I'll pick on you. Come on, guys.
Someone has to have something good that happened.
Come on, Pam.
I'm on. I had an open house this weekend and it seems like one of the persons that went must have been offered, so I'm working with them right now.
Amazing. Awesome. I love it. Congrats. All right, beautiful. So before we kind of dive into everything, I want to know when you cap, where are you going to go on vacation?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Where are we going?
Many places.
Where? Pick one. Anyone.
Spain.
Spain. South
South Africa.
Africa.
Europe, a little more
Europe. Okay. Just somewhere in Europe.
Yeah. Wherever Taylor's playing, I'll go there.
Wherever Taylor is playing. I love it. Okay. Anybody else? Where are you gonna go when you cap? Thailand. I love it. So I'm gonna tell you guys where I'm gonna go. And I'm gonna go to Ortley Beach, New Jersey. You wonder why? Because that is where I live. And the reason why is because I want you guys to think a little bit differently about capping. A lot of the times capping is like, oh my God, I have to cap, or I can be happy after I cap, or whatever the case is. But really, the capping is the first stepping stone. Like that's the building block. It's not the end all. It is not the end game. And a lot of the time people think that like their goal is, I just have to be a capper. All the money comes after that. So I'll save my money when I cap. And then after I make all the extra money, after I'm getting 100% for a little bit, then I'm going to go on vacation. So I want you guys to just reframe a little bit with the idea of capping. So let's dive in a little bit on what is in our capper tool and what we're going to talk about today. So first and foremost, lead generation. What are the 4 laws of lead generation and what are the most effective ways that we can lead generate? Then we're gonna talk a little bit about follow-up. So have a database full of leads or names or whatever. Well, now what? Now what do I do? And then we're gonna talk a little bit about transactions. So I'm gonna show you guys an actual pipeline inside of Command so how you guys can actually organize yourself inside of transactions to really get the most out of your business. Fair enough? Sound good to everybody? Awesome. So first and foremost, how many of you guys have the Command mobile app downloaded to your phone? Okay, almost everybody. If you don't, there's a QR code on the screen. Apple Store, Google Play, whatever it is that we're part of. But download the app because and basically you can run your entire business from the palm of your hand. On the go, you can manage all of your contacts, all your interactions with your contacts, and your entire business pipeline. But so either from the desktop or from the mobile app. Okay. It's fine. It wouldn't be the first time technology has failed me on.
We always say it's not a tech class without some sort of tech error.
Something will be happening.
Yeah.
So 4 laws of lead generation. How many of you guys have read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent or know what it is? Okay, beautiful. So on page 188 of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, they talk about the 4 laws of lead generation. This is the basis for what Command was built on. In fact, I had a conversation with David Voorhees, who is one of the senior labs directors, and he explained our CRM to me in a way that was it kind of like a little bit of an aha moment, that most of the other CRMs out there, the Boomtowns and the Brivities and the, Chimes, or I don't even know if it's called Chime anymore, I think it changed to something else. But either way, they're very transaction based. So versus Command, which is more client based, which is why everything starts with a contact. You can't start a transaction without having a contact inside of your database. You can't start a follow-up plan if that person's not in your database. So they look at the contact and the relationship that you have first. That's the most important part of Command. Everything starts and ends with that relationship. I've always been a firm believer that we are not in the business of selling houses. We are in the business of forming relationships, because if it was just strictly about buying or selling a house, how many of you guys worked with buyers over the last couple of years and got outbid and they lost house after house after house after house? They technically didn't buy a house. So if it was just about buying a house, you wouldn't be their realtor anymore, right? So it's more, we're building relationships with our clients, excuse me, building relationships with our database, vendors, other realtors. So we're customer service. It's more experience based than anything else. The tasks that we do is the tasks of buying and helping people buy and sell houses. But really at the heart of it, the relationship is that key component. So the 4 laws of lead generation are: build a database, feed it every day, communicate with it in a systematic way, and service all the leads that come your way. So all of these fit into one of those 3 categories that we're going to cover today: lead generation, follow-up, and transactions. And then in addition to that, all of those areas coincide with a piece inside of Command. So these numbers are a few months outdated, but we're going to go with the flow anyway. So contacts is your build a database. This is where your database is. 64 million unique contacts were inside of Command at the start of this year. So that means all of us in this room may have one contact that is shared with all of us, but it's not duplicated the 10 times or 15 times that were in here. Count that person once. So 64 million unique contacts. Feeding it every day is running campaigns, or sometimes it's postcards, it's Facebook ads, it's feeding that database, going to open houses, adding those people into the CRM portion. At the time that these slides were created, we had generated a little over 5 million, almost 5,200,000 leads through the Command system. So that's through Facebook ads, through postcards, and on average, it was costing our agents $2.29. I don't know about you, but $2.29 for a lead is not bad. communicate with it in a systematic way. That's our smart plans. That's all about follow-up, and the fortune is in the follow-up. We're gonna talk about smart plans in a little bit. But at the time of this, 167 million smart plans have been launched inside of the system. And then last, we have servicing our clients, service all the leads that come our way. That's our transactions, that's opportunities. And we have launched just under 7.5 million opportunities at the beginning of this year. So let's talk a little bit about the 201 Club. How many of you guys have heard of the 201 Club before? Okay, only 2 of you, love it. It's a great day at Keller-Williams. So those of you guys who have never heard of the 201 Club, what if I told you that the secret to having all of the financial success that you're looking for lies in just 2 numbers? The number 3 and the number 201. How does it make you guys feel? Anybody? Good, okay. I love it, makes you feel good, why?
Because it seems simple.
Okay, it seems simple. Anybody else? All right, so let's start with the number 3. The 3 has to do with the number of lead sources that you need to do business. So when we started researching everything that had to do with the 201 Club, they were researching for about 18 months. And they looked at numbers all different ways. You know, fiscal year, January to December, somebody joined Keller-Williams in July, so they did July to June, various different ways. They were pulling all of this data to see who was using command, what was working for them, and how it was translating into their business. So they started interviewing Gary's top 200, which they get invited to his masterminds, top 100 sales associates, individual, and top 100 team rainmakers from teams. So just top 200 agents. And after they interviewed them, they were like, you know what? We talk to this group of people all the time. We hear from them all the time. We want to hear from everybody else. So they talked to the top 100, well, not the top, they chose, randomly selected 100 of the brand new agents that joined in that previous year. They asked 100 people in different buckets, at the end of the day, they ended up somewhere in cities, somewhere in, you know, the suburbs, somewhere in rural area. They interviewed people from all walks of life in all different areas around the country because they wanted to get the most accurate information. They ended up talking to a little over 1,000 of our agents in the company to figure this stuff out. And what they found about lead sources is that typically anywhere from the agents were paying for anywhere from 1 to 15 different lead sources. This graph shows you the historical data of where, as a whole in the company, leads were actually coming from. So there's 3 lead sources here. So that lead, to me, and this comes to about 73 or 72%. The National Association of Realtors numbers are almost identical with the same top 3 categories. They were off by like a percentage point up or down or whatever the case is, but somewhere between 70 and 80% of an agent's business is coming from just 3 lead sources. So to me, that tells me that agents are paying for 15 lead sources and wasting money on 12. So before I tell you guys what the top 3 lead sources are, if you guys had to guess, what would you think are these 3 lead sources? Okay, cold calls, referrals, sphere. What else? Door knocking. Open houses, okay. What else? Anything else?
Online leads.
Online leads.
SEO.
Okay, so you guys got all 3. So which one do you think is the 14%?
SEO.
SEO?
Open house.
Nope. Internet leads.
Ah.
Now take this, all internet leads. So that's Facebook, that's Zillow, that's any lead that they have to go to a website and click on a property and say, I want more information. So think of how many websites are out there, how many of those different sources, and it's only 14% comes from internet leads. What do you guys think is the number 2? Nope. Here? No. Open houses. Open houses, actually, I should probably, internet leads. Open houses and events were lumped into one thing. So networking at like town events and things like that. And number 1 is your sphere, your database, your SOI. So close to 40% of people's businesses, I mean, there are some top agents who will tell us that 80% of their business comes from their sphere, which might be a little too, I think you should have like a healthy balance between the two. You do need to cold call because you still need to feed your database every day. You still need to call expired. You still need to do all of those things, go to open houses. But the bulk of people's business is coming from their database, the people that already know and love them. And I mentioned it before, because why? What's the most important part? Relationships. At the end of the day, the relationships you have with people they're gonna be the reason why they choose to work with you or refer you to other people. So that second number is 201. So to be part of the 201 club is not just about having 201 contacts inside your database, it's about being purposeful about those contacts. So 201 contacts, and in the next slide, I'll explain to you exactly what 201 is and where we got that information. But on average, agents who have at least 201 contacts in their database and have these 5 pieces of information, full name, a phone number, an email address, a physical address, and a birthday, and they are consistently interacting with those people a minimum of 36 times in 1 year. On average, those agents are closing $120,000 in GCI in a 12-month period. I think I added a slide here after this, where we're gonna look at our local number. If not, it's in the other class. But I can tell you that in New Jersey, that number is much higher. Because of our price point, this is almost double or triple in certain areas. Like I did the math for Monmouth County, because that's where my main market center is. And I think it was like $280,000 was the potential based on, and I lowballed it because our average commission over there is about $10,000, and I lowballed it to like 7.5, just because I like to give wiggle room. I like to give myself a little extra space, but we in New Jersey and the whole tri-state area have so much more potential to do even more than that using the same number of transactions. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but 201 Club. So here's the graph. This is all that data that I talked about with the 1,000 agents and all the research, and then the interviews. And then this was actually pulled right out of command. So what you guys see here is the number of agents inside of Keller Williams versus the number of contacts they have inside their database. Each bar graph talks about how many agents have this particular grouping of contacts inside their database, and then that red line is their average GCI of all the agents in that category. So the first two, the two biggest, which takes up about 77,000 of our agents out of the 160 in the United States, so a little more than half. Or no, not more than half, just about half. On average, they're bringing in $23,000 a year before the company takes their split, before all of that stuff comes out, before they talk about expenses. I don't know about you, but in the state of New Jersey, like, you are not surviving on that. If somebody in this room has found out how to do that and you have the magic wand, but please let me know, because I'd love to be able to stretch that money like that. But you're not making a living doing it that way. And the second biggest group is the group that's got at least 201 contacts. There's about 30,000 agents, and on average, they're closing $120,000. So again, think about how our price point is versus Texas or Utah or some of the other places. But so that's the average. And we'll look at, if not in this session, the second half of it, I break this down for you guys. But what I will do now, though, is break down how simple this can be. So you read the MREA, you know that there's a statistic in there that says for every 12 people in your database, you should get 2 pieces of business. One would be a direct piece of business, meaning that person that you called, that person in your database is going to buy or sell a piece of real estate this year. And the second piece is a referral, meaning I'm not ready to buy or sell, but I have a name for you. They're looking to buy or sell. So that means this should generate So that's 2. So if we have 201 contacts, if I divide that by 12, that brings me to about 16 possibilities for me to do 2 pieces of business, which means I could potentially close 32 transactions a year off of 201 contacts if I'm speaking to the right people and I am connecting with them enough throughout the year. How's that make you guys feel? Great, I love that. So those of you who have way more than 201 contacts in your database, I mean, when I first did this, I was like, oh, I have 870 people just sitting in my phone. It's just about who we're contacting and how we're forming that relationship and continuing to work with it. Now, back to those top agents, back to the top 200. 32 transactions is not enough. I mean, sorry, 32 transactions is not enough. 36 touch isn't enough. They are actually, I'm gonna ask you guys a question. So if you had to guess the average number of engagements that a top producing agent has with their database, what would you guys think? It's definitely, it's more than 36, but if you guys had to pick a number, what would be?
Per person,
How many touches does their database get a year?
60.
60?
15.
50? 120?
Wow, I'm gonna say once a week, so 52.
52?
Yeah.
If I told you that between 70 and 90 times a year, they're reaching out to one contact.
That's why.
That's a lot. Now, here's the thing. We're gonna talk a little bit because most people think, okay, when I think of my smart plan or my follow-up plan, it's phone calls, text messages, emails, postcards, Popeyes. Nobody thinks about social media as a touch. Guys, social media is included, should be included in your smart plans. Taking 10 minutes a day to go on and engage with your followers, your friends, your family, the people that know and like you is going to strengthen that relationship. Because I can almost guarantee with the number of people that I know now from my high school that now have their real estate licenses and how our friend groups overlapped, that my friends know at least 15 agents in Monmouth County alone, let alone anybody that from my high school, let alone if there's people they met from college or some other walk of life that also have their real estate license. But how do we stay top of mind? How do we stay the person that they choose? It's just constantly staying in front of them. Doesn't always have to be about real estate. You could be commenting on their kid's birthday party. You could be commenting on the outfit that they wore to a friend's wedding. As long as you are staying engaged with them and staying top of mind, that helps you think, that helps them think about you. In fact, typically a person can immediately remember 3 names. In that, like on the spur of the moment, if I were to ask you guys a question for any given topic, like if I was to say right now, Miranda, tell me 3 brands of ketchup.
Heinz.
Heinz. Okay, Heinz. Can anybody else? Go ahead. We have Heinz and Hunt's. Name another brand of ketchup. Name brand. Name brand. Can't be like the whole Kmart brand. Name brand of ketchup. We got 2. There are probably, I mean, I can say Annie's Organic.
Isn't that like a red something, like the packet thing?
Yeah, Reds is one. But yes,
Yes.
so like. I can do the same thing. If I put somebody on the spot and I'm like, name 3 brands of sneakers, you know, like people will typically be able to rattle off 3. And then even if they can come up with 4, 5, and 6, it may take them a second to compute it. But to like spit off really quickly, so they may know 25 agents, 50 agents, however many, even 5 agents, but they will think of it 1 or 2 right off the bat. That needs to be you with your database, with your friends and family. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about follow-up. So these are the smart plans. So the person who came up with this course, his name is George Kelly. He's the regional tech trainer for the greater PA region. He also is a rainmaker for one of Gary's top 100 teams. He's based out of Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and he wrote this course and literally gave us exactly what he does with his new agents when they get onboarded, and this is what his team does. So part of what's gonna happen is you guys will get these slides, and then I have 2 checklists that you guys will receive also. But these are the smart plans that he makes every single person on his team put his people on. And this is what we're gonna use later when we're looking at our opportunities to keep ourselves organized, to keep our contacts organized. So the first smart plan you wanna download is the Keller Williams quarterly call plan. The second one, how many of you guys have done the 66-day challenge?
Come on, guys, my man Marty Miller, I always talk about my man Marty Miller. No, you guys know those YouTube videos.
You guys know them, even if you don't realize you know what they are, you probably do. But Marty Miller created a call plan for a monthly call plan. You wanna download his. In fact, when you log into Smart Plans, it's like the first one in the top left. Then we have George Kelly's weekly call plan. And the last one is the monthly neighborhood nurture. So these are what's needed to really be part of the Zero to Kappa Club. And then some additional ones that are really helpful are the birthday smart plan written by KW. George Kelly has a 48-hour intensity, which happens in the first 48 hours that you engage with a new client. And last but not least is Kimber Walton's 36 touch plan. Now, what I will say about Kimber's plan is A, I love it. B, it gives you 27 articles / newsletters to send out to your people. So if I sent out all 27 in 1 year, I have, or like once a month, I've got 2 years worth of newsletters to go out. I can still add things and customize to them. Or I send them out bi-weekly and I have my newsletters for an entire year. Depends on how you want to do it.
So do you know why it's monthly and not bi-monthly, like bi-weekly?
For this,
Uh-huh.
because they're getting a lot of calls, but also because you don't, honestly, if that person is not actively looking right now, bi-weekly is too often for them. They're gonna get annoyed, it's not gonna be valuable, because it doesn't resonate with them right now, because they're not actually looking to buy or sell a house. When you're calling them weekly because you've identified that they're interested in buying in the very near future, or they're an active client, then I would update it to the bi-weekly. But you want it when, the key with any follow-up is that you want it to be valuable to your people. You don't want it to be some cookie cutter newsletter or some cookie cutter thing that's going to just go out, blast out to everybody, because then it loses its value. So it should be monthly unless they're an active buyer or seller right now. Make sense? Cool, awesome. But yeah, so Kimber, I love her smart plans. We did 2 weeks ago launch to a new email editor inside of Command. So Kimber's smart plan still works, but because those emails are on the old platform, they can't be edited. So you would have to use them as is, but they are generic. And there is literally nothing in them that has anything market specific. But the way I used to teach this, I would say, oh, go in, you can add listings to the bottom, you can add other features. So if you use it as is, you have to just use the single article and that's it, that can kind of go out right now. Or you can take her stuff and copy and paste it into the new email editor, and then you can add additional and really make it like a custom localized newsletter. But I just wanted to point that out because it's still a great smart plan, even though you can't add any extra details to it, but everything that's in there is like timeless real estate information. Like, what's the 4 questions that a first-time home buyer asks? In the history of real estate, they're pretty much the same 4 questions that a first-time home buyer always asks. One of them is about if I'm interested in becoming a real estate investor, what are the things I should be looking at? Again, typically, if you're deciding to invest for the first time in your first piece of property, you're gonna be checking and looking at the same things, whether it's 1999 or 2046. So a lot of the content is just timeless real estate information, nothing that's like market specific. Okay. Beautiful. So, I was gonna ask a question before I did that. Okay, so back to the follow-up, and if you saw the numbers, you saw the numbers. But if I gave every single person in this room a lead right now today, what percentage of you would not, like, if you had a guess, because this is a real number, what percentage of agents do you think would not call that lead? 60, 70? You guys are hard. It's high, but it's not that high.
40.
48. So 48% of agents receive a lead and then will never call it. Crazy, right? To think that I could give a lead to everybody in this room and half of you, just about half of you would say, I don't need money today. So that's a real life statistic, okay? That's like real, that's real life. And what percentage of agents do you guys think would call a lead 2 times and then say, it's a bad lead?
A lot.
A lot.
60.
60, 75. That's only 25. So 25% of agents will call the lead twice and then never call them again. There's a lot of other numbers on the screen that I'm gonna show you in a second, but if you had to guess how many times it actually takes to turn somebody into a sale, what would that guess be? How many touches, how many interactions before they become an active client? 4? 12? 10?
36.
36. So it's a range, it's between 8 and 12. So here's all the different things. This came out of, I forget where, honestly. But I've seen it in multiple different sales books. But this is why a follow-up is so important. Because only 2% of sales are made the first time I contact somebody. Only 2% of the people that you call are gonna say, yeah, I want to list with you right now. The rest, it's gonna take you somewhere between 80%, guys, of sales are made between 5 and 12. So if you're lucky, some sales are made in the, in that 4th contact or the 3rd contact. But so at the end of the day, if you are not following up with your people, a minimum of 5 times, you're not following up enough. And that's just, this is math. This is the mathing. This is like hard statistics. The numbers don't lie. This is.
Do you have any guidelines for how spread out those interactions should be? Like, obviously, you don't want to contact someone 5 times in 1 week. I'm just curious.
I
think it's different.
Maybe you might, guys, I'm not a realtor, I don't know, you tell me.
So I think it depends, because like with Facebook leads, I have an ad that's going to harass somebody for the first 2 weeks that they are in my database. And then after that, it's going to once a week. But like inside the MREA, there's something called the 8x8 new contact, which means you're interacting with them a little bit more intensely in those first 8 weeks, trying to form a relationship or build a deeper relationship. And then afterwards, it's a couple times a week. But I think everybody's business, I think traditionally, like once or twice a week, they're getting an email or a text, a call once a quarter. I think it varies, but when you start to incorporate things like social media, you can still be contacting them 1,000 times a day. Nobody thinks twice if you like a photo or you comment on something on social media. They don't get bothered by that. But if you texted them 1,000 times a day, it's a whole different story. So it's about using all of the different areas. It's mixing in the calls with the text and the email and the socials and Popeyes or whatever, postcards. It's a combination. So I can get, like, I have a standard 36 touch. I also later, and I also have what Gary thinks is a powerful 36 touch. So, oh, I need a brave volunteer. Okay, so we're gonna talk about something called the law of the lid. So LID stands for lifestyle, investments, and debt. So I'm gonna pull up my worksheet in a second. But so Rolanda, what I want you to do is I want you to think of your dream lifestyle.
Okay.
How much you're spending a week on groceries, what your bills are, you're living in your dream house, you're driving your dream car. We're traveling all the whole world because I know you like to travel. Think about how many vacations you want to go on each year and where we're going.
Okay.
How often you want to shop, how often we're going to concerts or the movies or whatever entertainment, how often are we eating out? Think about all of those things. Then we're talking about investments. So if you don't already own a house, what is that gonna look like? How much do you want to put down? What's the size, like how much, is the price point? If you have one, are you buying a second house? Is it a vacation home? If we're not doing any of that, or even if you are we investing in any properties? Are we saving for college for any kids that we have? Planning on donating to charities? Want to start another business? Are you putting anything away, whether it's through stocks, a 401k, savings, any kind of retirement plan? And then we're gonna look at debt. So is there anything you want to pay off this year? Do you have credit card debt, a college tuition you want to pay off, a mortgage on that first house so you can buy the second, what, you want to pay off that car? And then any other debt, is there medical debt, are you paying off bills for your mom, whatever that looks like, this is what we're gonna look at. So you guys are all gonna get this spreadsheet, but we're gonna work through Floranda's as an example today. Why? Didn't it click? All right, hold on.
I think we don't have to do it.
Lies.
Good one.
Oh, man.
Ah, damn. Oh, no.
I'm telling you, it's just not meant to be.
There it goes, it's just delayed. Things love to work for us. See, look, even my presentation, for whatever reason today, it's like, we're not clicking on a link today. Oh, come on, guys, really? Yes, it's me. 52. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm gonna sit down. So again, you guys will get this so you can do your own. But so when on this spreadsheet, all you gotta do is fill in the green. It's gonna work everything out for you. Okay, so. Lorena, what are the monthly expenses? Again, thinking about all of those things. You're driving the dream car, living in the dream house. What does that look like?
Okay, so this is just me like, well.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
No, so I'm gonna say my monthly expenses are gonna be 60K.
60K.
Yeah.
All right. So 60,000. So now this is gonna auto-populate that her yearly expenses would be $720,000 a year. And we always like to have 6 months of reserves because life happens. And nobody was prepared for COVID, not a single soul, because nobody ever in their right mind would have thought that anything like that was gonna happen. So we want to be prepared in case that happens again. I know Jersey was lucky enough where we were able to continue doing business, but if we were in Pennsylvania, you were not allowed to sell real estate. You were not deemed essential. So you were like, what do I do? So you want to have 6 months of reserves. So that means total year of living expenses would be just over $1 million.
Yep, that sounds right.
All right, beautiful. So
That's crazy.
I already know you own your first home. So we don't have to put anything inside of here, but any chance you want to buy a second home?
Yes.
Okay, and what would you want to have like in cash down payment for that house?
We'll probably, no, I don't wanna put all my cash into, 20%.
Okay, of what sales price?
I wanna be by the beach, so you tell me.
Good luck is what I'm gonna say.
Good luck.
Depends on where on the beach.
Alright, let's just keep it easy, like 1.5.
So.
1.5 sales, so that's what, 20, I'm so bad with numbers, I don't know how.
That's okay, I would have
That's okay.
300K.
Yeah.
Okay, so 300K.
Yeah.
So that's our second home, that's our vacation house. So are we investing in any additional properties?
Yes, 150K for like private.
Okay, so 150 for private.
Yeah.
Awesome. Kids, are we planning for college? No,
No, fine.
okay. Any plans to open a second business in this year?
No.
Okay. Any type of charity or foundation that you're planning on donating anything to on a regular basis?
Not yet,
Tax
I don't know what's, tax write-off?
Yeah, do something.
What would you like recommend?
How much do you want to donate? 1,000, 10,000, 5,000? Can always change.
I mean, all my expenses are so high, I feel like a lot of it should.
2,000.
How much?
2,000.
2,000. No, so let's, 10, alright.
All right, 10. All right, so we got 10,000. Anything we're putting away for retirement? Like, are we buying stocks? Are you starting yourself a 401k?
Yeah, so do 50K on that one.
50K, okay.
Yeah.
All
We're
right,
not probably all.
so-
I got a lot of money, girl. I got a lot of expenses,
It's gonna be an millionaire real estate agent, right here, MREA. Okay, awesome. So that means in additional investments, we need to have $510,000 as well in order to be able to invest in the additional properties and the additional things that we want to invest in, to donate and to put money aside for retirement.
Okay.
Yours.
All right, so do we have
Here, got it.
what?
My income.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
debt, what, are we paying off any credit cards this year? Is there any credit cards you want to pay off?
I have no credit card debt, no.
Beautiful. Auto loan, do you have a car that you want to pay off?
Own it.
Okay. Do you want your mortgage, do you want to pay off the mortgage of your current home?
No,
Okay,
it's good rate.
all right, beautiful.
So,
A college loan that you're paying off?
I'm paying it off, but yeah, small.
Okay.
increments.
How much is left? Well, do we want to pay it off in full? Do you want to pay half of it, a quarter of it?
You got this.
Hold on, let's see.
Just.
Okay, so no, okay, yeah, it's 30 something, so let's say I'm gonna pay 10K.
Okay, so we're gonna take 10K off the college loans. And are there any other expenses, any other debt, medical debt you want to pay off? Anything for your mom? You're paying, like, buying her home in Texas, or, you know, anything like that?
She can wait a little relax.
Okay.
Okay, you know, she has.
Got it.
She comes through.
Get in line.
All right.
Yeah.
You'll get yours eventually, not this year though. Okay, so that means the total that you would need in income is $1.6 million.
Whew, okay.
But we also know that Uncle Sam's gonna come in and they're gonna take 33% of that. So really, that means in order for you to fund this dream lifestyle, you would need to be bringing in $2.388 million a year.
Which I don't do right now, by the way, I'm just digesting for my dream stuff.
This is the dream, this is the dream.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're
I live in both of them.
Yeah, this is the dream lifestyle.
You got scared, maybe everybody think you spooked. No, she asked me for my dream stuff, if you want my actual expenses, they're still high, but it's still.
Yeah, well, we're dreaming big, because now you need to know where you need to aim, and then we can continue to incrementally grow after that. But, okay, so we know that in order to do all the things that you wanna do, to go on all the vacations you wanna go on, to own the investment properties and all that kind of stuff, this is what we need to do in real estate business right now.
Let's look at those other numbers.
We will.
Those things are-
So, do you have any other additional income coming in from anywhere else right now? Do you currently have any other businesses or investment properties or anything that you are bringing money into?
I mean, I just have stocks, but I don't touch them.
Okay. All right, so nothing.
No.
All right,
Okay.
so
Income.
income,
I need to do.
are you getting anything from profit share?
No.
No, we're gonna need to change that.
All right.
We're gonna do some marketing here. Okay, so what is your average commission per unit?
That sounds about right, the 75. Yeah.
Okay. So that means right now, I mean, listen, we talked about your team, you would need to close 318 units based on this
In New Jersey, okay.
in New Jersey. You're like, but it could, like, if you talk about Bar Realty Group, like, it could be a team that's helping you achieve this.
Okay.
We also know that contracts fall through at we're gonna say 15% fall through rate, so that means you have to have worked with 375 people or written 375 contracts, because we know some of them are gonna fall through. And sometimes you start working with a client and they never even make it to writing a contract, or they change their mind halfway through, so 441 transactions. Or clients or who you have to work with. So inside the MRA, there's a statistic that shows that you have to have 30 conversations to get a client. So if we divide all that into each other, you need to have 13,000 conversations. Okay, this is a little, we're a little out there. I'm gonna simplify some of this in a second to make
I
it.
have no friends, because you're not going to talk.
I'm like talking down.
I am talking.
She doesn't need to talk, she'll be rich.
She'll make people talk for her. She'll make all the people talk for her. So just for everybody else to understand what this now did, is this telling us how many conversations we have to have in a quarter, which also means this is how many people you need to have in your database. So if you, now, this may not happen this year, but if, do you have at least 3,000 people in your database?
I think I have 4,700.
Okay.
Not like the 201 contacts.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
Eventually, we wanna get there, but because like anybody you have a human interaction with, meaning you've had a conversation, you've met in person, you sent them a text, emails don't count because nobody reads emails and bots send them out. So if you've had a human interaction with somebody, they should be on your quarterly call plan. But they don't necessarily, all of them don't have to be 201 at the moment. Ideally, that you want to get them there. But, so you need to have a minimum of 3,305 people inside your database. So we need to figure out how to feed your database more to get that up, to achieve this. But maybe this is a 5-year goal for you. Maybe this isn't a year, maybe, you know what I mean? Like this may be something else. But, so now let's look at work weeks, because this number might change based on the conversation, what we have now. So we're working every single week of the year, all 52. Sounds about right. What about vacations?
No, I take vacation.
No, I know. How many vacations? Remember, dream life. How many vacations a year?
Once a quarter.
So 4. We're going away for 4 weeks. So that means you're actually working 48 weeks, which means you need to have 275 conversations a week. So if we are we working 70? Basically, you need to do bold every day.
That's based on 7 days.
Yeah. So you're working 7 days a week?
When are we not?
I mean, I know, but like in your dream, again, we're talking dream lifestyle. You want to give yourself,
No.
okay, are you working 5 days? Are you working 6 days? What does that look like?
Yeah, 5.
Okay, 5 days, 4 days. 4 days. There was a guy, listen, there was a guy on stage at Mega Camp last year who works 3 months out of the year and then goes and lives on his private island the whole other 9 months of the year. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I was like, I want to be you.
Yeah, Billy Penna, who was just here, he has the same mentality, not to that extent, but he has it on his wall where he's like, these are the months I'm working and these are the months I will not be working.
Yeah.
And he takes that time to, you know,
Yeah.
do his thing.
Yeah, no, this guy was on stage at Mega Camp. He door knocks, to your point before, he door knocks for 3 months, hardcore, goes in, makes all kinds of money, and then literally lives on his private island that he bought. The rest of the year. And I'm like, I want to be you when I grow up, sir. Okay, so this means you have to have 55 conversations a day.
Damn, that's a lot, sorry. That's not contact, that's conversation.
That's conversation.
Yeah.
Well, again, guys, this is dream lifestyle. This is going from 0 to MREA. This is beyond capper. Like this is mega agent, like Gary's top 10. So this is like this is a little bit on the extreme side of things. I'm gonna go and bring this down a little bit. But so based on anything now, do you have any flips? Are you getting any profit from flips or anything like that? Like, is there anything that you have there? Spouse and partner income, we said no to profit share before, other revenue. So as you guys are doing this, it can change the numbers here. So like, as an example, let's say you're making $20,000 a year from flips. This is gonna change. You have to have like one less conversation based on what you're putting in here. So
So do more flips.
do more flips.
That was part of the goal.
Get married. No,
Don't do that.
don't do that. though.
Don't do that. It's more expensive when you get divorced.
But
Sorry.
but yeah, so okay, in this example, Lauren, you would need to have a minimum of 3,000 contacts. And you have to have 55 conversations a year.
No pressure.
No pressure, but let's bring this down a little bit. 7,
Yes.
we're gonna take it down. So we're gonna say 10,000. Yeah. Which would be, then you'd have 180,000. We're gonna leave the investments, because why the heck not? Because this would bring you to a millionaire real estate agent status,
Yeah.
but to be an MREA, you need 1,400 people in your database. If you're doing the same investments, we kept all the investments. She's got no credit card debt, her car is already paid off. We're not paying off the first house just yet. So that's 1,400 conversations a quarter, which breaks down to 24 conversations a day.
That's not bad.
to be a millionaire real estate agent, guys.
How many is it? I'm sorry.
24.
That's nothing.
That's nothing. That's nothing, 24 conversations a day. So now we're gonna go back to my zero to capper. That's bold.
20 a day,
Bold is 20 a day. Yeah,
20 days.
20 a day, 100 a week, or you do a bold.
100 a day,
Yeah, you're doing like a half bold 100 every single day. But yeah, so where's my present? So this is those 24 conversations. Okay, so again, we are calling the people in our database. We've got a minimum of 1,400 people in our database that we've had human interactions with over the course of time. So this could be friends, family, old coworkers, people I met at an open house, past clients, whatever. I always get, you know, the pushback like, I don't want to bother my friends and family. Okay, fine. You know, if you prefer to text them, guess what? You need to double that. So if you need to be making having 24 conversations a day, guess what? Now you need to text 48 people instead. And those of you who were talking about before, oh, I want a cold call. I want to call for sale by owners or expireds and talk to strangers. Guess what? That number doubles again. So we went from 48 to 96. So you have to then have 96 conversations to generate the same number of transactions, because what did I say at the beginning? What's the most important part? Relationships. You have to make twice as many calls because you need to form a relationship. They don't even know you yet. You need to build the relationship first before they're going to trust you. So then I get, oh, what if I just want to do Facebook ads?
Oh, damn.
You would need to generate via Facebook.
Oh, my God.
In order to generate the same number as if I would just call 25 people in my database. At the end of the day, this will all work. All of it will work. But the colder that relationship is, the more work you have to do. I don't know about you, but I like working smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to say. Now I have all these people. I've generated all the Facebook leads, all the things. I don't know what to say. At the core of it, guys, we don't have to vomit real estate on people form. Some of you guys may know this as Ford with a D. I came across this a little bit differently, and I liked describing the last one as motivation instead of a dream. So family, occupation, recreation, and motivation is the form method. The reason why I like this is because these all break down to people's core values. If there's a major change in any one of these areas, there's a real serious chance that they're gonna have to move. Family, at some point, they're gonna outgrow the house if they have more kids. Somebody passes away, they're gonna have to sell the house. Occupation, they lose their job, they can't afford the house anymore, they're gonna have to downsize. If they have to relocate for work, they're gonna have to buy a new house and sell the one that they're in. Recreation, motivation, all come down to core values. If I want to travel all over the world, if that's more important to me than owning a big, 5-bedroom house with, 6 baths and a wraparound porch and a pool, I'm gonna go with, right, yeah.
I guess the dream.
Exactly. But if that's the dream. That's the $2.3 million dream. But if that's more important to me than owning a house, being able to travel the world, I may want a smaller family, or maybe I just want, I don't want to say a rental, but maybe I need something smaller, a cute little cottage somewhere that I can hang my hat on when I come home. So their choices may change, which will force them to buy or sell. And same thing with motivation. Again, somewhere on here, there is a link to download. I think it's at the bottom. I think it's hidden by this thing right now. But there's a link to example questions for each of them. It's really a check-in. Everything that we do is a check-in. So I'm gonna go back, and I don't know why I didn't prepare myself to do this before, but we're gonna walk through what I was talking about with opportunities. I'm gonna go into agent, Dr. W. instead of. Yes, okay. So we're gonna take Kilowitz. So we're gonna look at opportunities. So we're gonna look at those transactions and how we can manage our pipeline to our advantage. Sometimes. Yeah,
Let's take it started.
yeah. Okay, cool. We want to be in my personal, not all my 75 weeklies. So we're gonna focus specifically on the cultivate stage, which I know nobody uses, but I'm gonna tell you guys why you want to. So I've already gone on here and I have changed my stages. How many of you guys knew that you could customize all of your stages inside of Command? Oh, okay, 2 people. So I'm gonna give you guys George Kelly's exactly what he uses for his team through every single one of these stages. It's part of this, so I can send it to Kim so you guys can send it out or share it out. What I've gone and done now, the watch, nurture, and hot part, every single one of you has that already inside of Cultivate. Am I going to create a opportunity for literally every single contact inside my database? No. But anybody I have had a human conversation with is going to be on that once a quarter call anyway, right? So as I am calling once a quarter to touch base with the 1,400 people in my database, if one of them in that conversation gives me any indication that they're moving in the next 12 to 24 months, I am going to create a opportunity for them and put them in once a quarter. Now, there are checklists here that I highly recommend you guys use. That spreadsheet that I'm giving you from George Kelly is exactly what the checklist is supposed to be. I'm not going to dive into that because the most important part is this piece here right now. So anybody who indicates they're going to move, now these are going to be the first people that I check in with, or these are going to be the ones that I want to stay on top of because they've indicated that they're ready to move soon, in a year. If I'm having they're staying on that quarterly call plan, I'm not taking them off the quarterly call plan, but I need to pay attention to them. If at any point in time, my dad here decides he gives me any indication that he wants to move in the next 6 months, or in the next 6 to 12 months, I'm gonna move him here. So now this is my people that I need to call once a month. I'm gonna change him on his smart plan. I'm gonna remove him from once a quarter and add him to my once a month call, like call plan. He's gonna get a call from me once a month because I'm going to continue to check on him. I'm just gonna say, how's the fam? I mean, it's my dad, so whatever, we're gonna pretend like there was somebody else there. But how's the family? How are things at work? Are you still working at, that same place? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I saw on Facebook that you went on vacation. How was Greece? It's always been on my bucket list. Where do you recommend? I'm not mentioning anything about real estate. It's just checking in with them. Then, if at any point in time, my people that are once a month, or even from once a quarter, they're like, you know what? My company went out of business. I got a new job in Texas. Maybe I'll move them straight over to, okay, great, they need to sell in the next 6 months. And then I'm gonna move them, if they're on my 6-month trajectory, and call them once a week to check in. And again, you'll notice that the checklists on the bottom will change for each thing. Does this make sense to everybody? Okay. So this is how you guys can use transactions. If you don't feel like this particular method vibes with you, that's okay. Find what works for you. But this is, like I said, this was written by George, and this is what his team does, and this is how they have gotten to be a top 100 team in the whole company, and they're in Gary's top 100. So he's giving you tried and true methods that have worked. But so this is, it's going in and customizing your pipeline. So you can continue to do that in every stage here. In fact, you should customize all of them so that when you are ready to add an admin or grow a team, if that's something that you want to do, this becomes your standard operational policies. So any admin could leave and a new person can get hired, and they're going to know exactly what you want to happen when you are trying to schedule an appointment with somebody, or when they are under contract and they're going to attorney review. So this should be your operational policies. So most people don't even know that these checklists exist. The other cool thing that you'll notice up here is that you can also include them in what's called client updates, which means if here, congrats, you're out of attorney review. If I want my client to be notified of the congrats, you're out of attorney review, yes, I'm gonna call them, but isn't it great for them to also just get an auto-generated email also? So if I click this off right now, I mean, it's already completed, but if I were to click this off and complete this right now at 12 o'clock, then tomorrow morning at 9:30, they're gonna get an email that says, hey, we completed these things yesterday in your transaction. And if all of these were things that my client should be updated on, all 3 of them would be listed. But I can choose which of them are just for me to know or just my team to know versus stuff I want my client to be updated on. Fair enough? Makes sense, everybody?
Yeah.
Any questions? Okay, we've got I know we're gonna go over 5 minutes, but, so with all of this, yeah, my experience with Canva's great. Okay, so with all of these things, at the end of the day, the market doesn't move real estate, life events do. Now, will things like prices going up and the mortgage rates, will that influence what people can do and what they can afford? Absolutely. But like I said, at the end of the day, life events, people are gonna have to move no matter what if there are certain life events. In fact, that's how we beat Zillow. Because Zillow doesn't know that Brees and Nora are becoming empty nesters. They don't know that apparently I'm getting divorced. I always forget that it says Ashley there, and I'm like, I'm not married, so that's a fun one. They don't know that the Skeets just had baby number 10.
Jesus.
You know what I mean? They don't know that Grammy and Papa are moving into an assisted living facility, or that Tim just got a new job. At the end of the day, if you are in a relationship with people, you're gonna beat the Zillows and the Redfins and all the other internet-based everything, hands down. So it's about being in a relationship. You'll know before Zillow does, you'll know before AI does, if you're in relationship with your people. So let's just recap real quick, everything that we kind of talked about today. 0 to capper. So you use that lead goal worksheet to plan the life that you want to live. Your goal sheet tells you how many people you then need to have in your database. Your goal sheet plus your database is going to break down how many calls you need to make per day. And then once you know that, the conversations you're going to have, the calls that you're going to make, they tell you where those people should live inside of your opportunity pipeline. And once you're in your pipeline, that tells you which smart plan each of your people needs to be on. At the end of the day, it's not rocket science, it is just real estate. Okay, fair enough, right? Makes sense to everybody?
Yep.
Any comments, questions, concerns about any of the stuff that we covered today? No? Okay, so let's get into action. So what's one thing that you learned today that you think you can implement in the next 24 hours?
Making calls.
Making calls. Make the calls. I love it. With more smart plans. Same, more smart plans. What else, guys? Anything else?
A goal could just be getting your contacts from your phone into your database. Or
Yeah.
anyone else that you know, as Ashley said, it's your whole sphere, so it's not just clients, for people you hope to turn into clients, but it's everyone that you know from other walks of life, your
Yeah.
friends, your family, people you know from other jobs. If you know, you have kids, any of their parents, you go to a coffee shop, you go to the gym, whatever the case may be, if you have that, even the smallest relationship with them, add them in your database.
Yes.
Cause you never know who someone else knows that may be
Mhm.
looking to buy or sell.
Right. Even the smallest relationship will be easier to build than with a for sale by owner or an expired or a Facebook lead. It's easier to build on a relationship that's already there than it is to start a whole brand new one.
So, during one of the bowl that I went to,
Uh-huh.
there was a competition where, because many of us have so many contacts, so the speaker was saying, why don't you just do A and Z today?
Mhm.
And the next day, close again. So we were doing this competition and had a chart there. And it was incredible.
The DTD too.
It's in my
Yeah.
thing. And
Yeah.
I hadn't had a contact with anybody, goes, they were so happy to hear from you.
Yes.
I said, oh, you know, I haven't spelled here,
Mhm.
because that's how it opens up.
Yeah. And that's listen, I came across, you can lie. Oh my God, I came across a pic, I haven't talked to this person in 10 years. Well, when it was just my 20-year high school reunion, so.
It's discipline, just.
Oh my, yeah, I just saw a picture of you on Facebook. I was thinking about all the fun times. I know it's been 20 years, but how are you? I guarantee unless they hated you in high school, they're not gonna hang up. They're gonna be like, well, this is weird, but yeah, oh my God. You know, so. You're like, we get it, we are our own worst enemies, guys, our own worst enemies. And that's it for zero to Capper, guys. Okay, so I know we've got another session that's gonna start, but real quick. Because me and Lorenda are here, so every time I go anywhere, we're talking about KWYP.
Yes, we are.
So, Lorenda and I just joined leadership for the New York, New Jersey chapter, so that's why we're starting our own little tour of market centers, and so we were like, well, this is the perfect opportunity to go say hi to everybody.
And I want to start
But we wanted to just kind of talk to you guys about what KWYP is and kind of like how powerful the KW communities are. Is anybody in the room in KWYP? No, actually, no, you're not. We accept everybody. Yeah, Jason Abrams should have been kicked out years ago, but he's still in it. We don't kick people out. We just like it. If you're young at heart, we want you to be part of it.
It's a membership?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'll tell you what it is for me. So I think I probably joined 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And that first year, I'll be honest, like nothing was really happening. I joined, it was whatever. And then I kind of re-engaged back in, I would say April. And I went to the Philly Summit where they did, Jason Abrams was supposed to
Yeah.
speak, but his flight got canceled because of all the bad weather there. But in terms of like the way you like get referral business out of state, that's a big part of my business this year. And it was also one of my goals is to network and get, build a lot of relationships with other agents. And ours in particular, again, when you're talking about what's going on in the market, kind of learning and bouncing things off of each other is really key for me. And when I need to vent about something, I call Ashley, I call Harjo, I call Matt, whoever, and it really kind of helps propel that business. And like, just depending on what part of your business you're trying to nurture, YP has been really there for me in terms of connecting me. So, and again, I was there for a year, didn't do anything, but this year I really re-engaged and it's doing a lot for me.
Yeah, same. I mean,
Yeah.
I did a very similar thing. I joined YP probably almost 3 years ago now. And in the beginning, it was like, okay, I don't really know what this is and what it's about. And I was in a team leader role at the time, so I couldn't travel and engage with all of the different events that they were doing. But at one point I was struggling and I was like asking to go to training, but it was COVID. So we either couldn't go, they were not letting us expend all kinds of stuff to fly to Texas or to do all these things. So I'm like, well, what do I do? And I ended up connecting with a group of team leaders from KWYP and we ended up role playing together every single week. And we were doing all of these things and they held masterminds and they were doing leadership classes. So I ended up learning a lot, which helped me in my role. And I wouldn't have had that connection had I not been a part of KWYP. And one team leader was like, hey guys, I'm a TL, I know most of your agents, but are there any other TLs in the group? And I was like, me. So, and same thing, like I actually in the last year have probably started to actually go to things more. And I think Summit in Philadelphia, because
I was a key driver.
It
yeah.
was.
It really was.
I had been to the events at Family Reunion and Mega Camp that are just for KWYP. In fact, the one in Mega Camp last year had Gary Keller and Jason Abrams as speakers. And that was part of the reason why when this role came about, I was like, I'm gonna take a chance for it. But it's definitely been a change. It's been awesome and being like re-engaging and now I'm connecting with a lot of people and I'm not actively in business anymore because of the leadership roles that I've been in for the last 3 years, but I have connections with people and I'm still getting referrals, like, I'm like, I'll give them to my dad's team and we'll, like, my dad really works them, or I'll help with it, or whatever the case is, or I will take the referral because it's a friend from YP. But,
And Ashley actually connects me every single time in Monmouth County, like, and I'm really grateful that you're in it, I really am, because she's a huge tool in terms of what I need to do in command, agents in Monmouth County, and just overall, so like, we're really grateful to have you on now as leadership, for sure. And also for a great group of people to hang out
what a
with.
lot of fun.
Our Summer Olympics, which you guys missed, right, in June.
Yeah.
It was so hot that day.
With the hottest day of the life.
It was great though, we actually had a really good time.
We did, there was only like 10 of us there, but we had a really awesome time.
We did, yeah. And this
Um,
Friday, Central Park, I know it's a
yes.
little bit short notice, but then in August, we also have something in Asbury Park. We're just kind of, it's hanging out, brainstorming
Mhm.
kind of thing.
So, yeah, so those are our upcoming, it's our summer park series, and then we just have pictures of the different things of like. When we launched, we do special classes and we're trying to like revamp because we just joined the leadership team a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
So we're trying to bring back various different classes, and I know we talked about like doing a young professionals business planning clinic.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff, so some of the stuff is gonna be open to everybody, so you can come and experience it before committing to paying like into KWRI for it. But other things are gonna just be exclusive to people who are members of KWYP.
Yeah.
But just so you guys know what the pricing is like, it is $39 a month. But I think it's honestly well worth it. Some people get one referral and that covers your month, the YP for the whole year.
And I actually just got one, sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
I got one yesterday from San Diego, so it's one of our YP members, he ended up calling me because I'm in New Jersey and they're looking for a house in Dumont up to 600. So, yeah,
Mhm.
and that's just because I've been at Mega Camp and Family Reunion, and I mean, I hang out mostly with YP when I'm at those events,
Yeah.
but obviously I go to all the other classes. But it's also really interesting to see how people do their business in other states. It's
Mhm.
wild.
Yeah.
Like somebody in Texas, their showing takes 2 hours if they're showing like a whatever, like
Show.
18-acre property.
Oh.
Yeah.
But that's like,
Yeah.
it's an 18-acre property and you're doing a 2.5-hour tour. And I'm
Like, so one of the girls from Tennessee is like,
yes,
her niche
yep,
is
relocation.
relocation. So she's like, oh yeah, so I take them on like a 5-hour tour of
She
all
does.
over Nashville.
Yep.
And show them all the things about why relocating to take this job, and she only works with corporate companies
Yeah.
that have these relocation plans,
And
but she's a
spends-
luxury,
Yep.
like, and she will spend 5 hours doing a tour for every
I mean,
single person, and I'm
And
like,
she's like a concierge.
Yeah.
She gives them all the information,
Yeah.
towns, restaurants, shop, and she spends the whole
whole day with them.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so it's crazy to just hear the different things.
She actually really impressed me.
Yeah.
She really impressed me.
So we just wanted to say hi and then just talk about that since we do have an event, a couple of events coming up.
So you have to sign the contract for year basis or how it is, like monthly?
No, it's monthly. So yeah, so you pay monthly. The other thing is if you are on a team, one person on the team would have to be paying the $40 a month, but then other team members can get like a discount, like half price. So for $20 a month, it's the same thing with leadership. So if one person on the leadership staff is in YP, anybody else who qualifies on leadership can get the $20 a month. So like the TL would join and then lead the services or whatever would be, so it works the same way for both.
So can I ask you, how does it work? What does it mean beyond the KWYP?
So KWYP is Keller Williams Young Professionals. So Keller Williams has multiple communities that cross various different things. So it's just bringing like-minded people together. So like when I said that going to the advance at Mega Leadership was one of the things that propelled me, like to decide to try to go out for this role. Being able to speak to other agents who are in your age bracket and have probably dealt with some of the same things or issues that you have gone with and like gotten through in this industry. I know I got licensed at 20. So being a 20-year-old and trying to go and sell luxury listings in Monmouth County, people look at you and they're like, well, you're what? Like, you're too young. Like, you don't know what you're talking about and whatever the case is. So there's a lot of millionaire real estate agents that are under 40 that are in our company. And they're constantly sharing their best practices and everything like that. And it's so to be able to network and hear from other people who are achieving the things that you want to achieve,
Yeah.
And building those relationships and getting the referrals from them, that's really what it is. You get discounts for certain things, like you get discounts for maps, classes and some of the coachings and things like that. So we do a KWYP advance every year. So we have a special session at family reunion that if you're not a YP member, you can't come to those classes. Like last year at Mega Camp, we had Gary Keller, Wendy Papazan, and Jason Abrams come and speak just to the 150 people in that room. And if you weren't a YP member, you weren't allowed in. And had I not been a member of YP, I would have missed that conversation and I'd still be a team leader, or maybe I would have quit at that point, because I was on the verge of like not being happy with where I was. So I may have gone, like my whole life would have been in a different place had I not been able to be a part of that conversation. But you pay the $39 a month and you get put in a Facebook group. They put us in masterminds, so there's 4 masterminds that happen monthly. And they assign everybody to like a mastermind, so you get to meet and network with people, and then we've got special events. Like I don't know if they're being serious or not, but they want our summit to be on a cruise next year, and I'm like, I mean, yes. But otherwise
But it's Chicago next year.
well, then Jesse was like, well, what if we did a cruise instead? And I'm like, yes.
Okay.
It's supposed to be in Chicago, but then so it's like our own mini version of Mega Camp with just young professionals members, which is really cool. We had about 500 that were there in Philly, which was really cool.
Yeah, it was great. If you have questions for us, just reach out to me, reach out to Ashley. I think we'll have a QR code soon to like, once we start going to more markets.
Yes.
All right.
Shameless plug, sorry.
Okay.